Hey, it's Amanda, and you are watching a segment from 100 videos in 100 days. This started out as a challenge to myself to prove that freedom can come from authenticity and vulnerability, and that life doesn't have to be perfect or look perfect, it doesn't have to feel perfect to be valuable, to really be valuable. And that you don't have to wait to share your gifts till it all looks a certain way. And this is also about what the cost is of waiting to share your gifts. I didn't have a YouTube channel before this. I never did a video of myself. I didn't even like to see myself in camera. So am I scared every time I do this? Yes. But I'm here. I'm showing up, because I'm committed to this conversation about freedom. And the freer I get, I believe the freer you will get. So I invite you to participate as you can. There's no editing here. I get one take. So if it all goes to hell, you go with me. There may be swearing, there may be crying. I may get up and walk around. It's the game. It's authentic and vulnerable. I will look different every day. So that's really the point of it, is in life there's no editing, there's no redos. So who are you going to be? How are you going to show up? What would that look like? And what would be possible if you just showed up exactly as you were and let the cards fall? Would that be freeing? It is to me. And if it is to you, I hope you get something out of these. If there's anything that I say that rubs you wrong or feels off, discard it immediately. It's not for you. It's for whoever needs it, and most likely for me. So when this turns off and the next one turns on, I will be sitting here quietly with my eyes closed. You're not walking into any special session that you're not supposed to see. Everything's transparent here. So I started this to have context in the beginning, because I can see people are jumping in the middle of the series, and I just want to make sure everyone feels included. So I will see you soon. My mind as I interact with more people that message me about these videos, or just comments or questions or anything, my mind during the day will tell me what I should say in a video to answer a question or a thought. And I know I can't do that, because then it will shift the whole conversation. It has to come from what's down in here. But I can see how it would be hard to be someone who, I guess, is in the public eye and not let that shift the conversations that you have. You know, they'll stop liking me, or they won't talk to me, or this group will then promote me and this one will back away from me if everything I say. And I mean, it's really no different in life. We shift who we are a lot of times by the people we're around. Or, you know, I don't swear when I'm at church, but when I'm with these friends, or when I'm with this government party, I agree with this. And we all like to think we don't shift. But if you ever have a catch in what you say or edit a thought, I don't want to say that because it would be rude. Well, what it really all comes down to is, like yesterday when I was talking about the darkness, it's the reality of how our ego works. It's not good or bad, it's just how it operates. And it comes down to what you think you will lose or what you won't get if you really say what you mean. We lie in our relationships because, or we stay in them, or we leave them, or whatever, because of those two things. I'll lose something, or I won't get something I want. So while we think that we're honest, maybe because we say some bold things sometimes, or we, maybe we try a lot, but there's so much we do not say and we don't do because of what we're afraid of and what we think will happen if someone else leaves. Because our ego will always focus on what we think we're going to lose versus what's possible by telling the truth. So I got to go to the baseball game yesterday with my son, which was really fun. I'd like to go to sporting events. I like sports because I think it's a community thing, and I've used sports many times to get along with people I didn't know how to get along with, that I didn't seem to be able to have any kind of way to connect. I could show up and be funny, I could help them, I could do whatever, and there was just the resistance to me. But sports, for some reason, can open up all kinds of conversations. I've had conversations with people that people would freak out if they knew what the situation was, but I knew that sports would be an access to the conversation. So once I got some of the younger people alone, I opened up that dialogue, and all of a sudden these kids that were unnerved by me couldn't leave me alone. They had to talk sports. People I've been related to, older people that haven't particularly warmed to me, they warmed to me when I knew a lot about sports. So I like them, and I don't know, it was just funny when the Diamondbacks won. I turned to my son, I'm like, aren't we champions? We're the best. We won. We are so good. We're sitting, these men are high-fiving around us, and I'm just laughing that we take credit. My team did this. That means I am awesome. Or my child did this, therefore I'm an awesome parent. It's so little to do with us. Well, sports has nothing to do with us. But we even get superstitious about that. It's like, well, I stayed true. I wasn't a bandwagon fan. I was true. So that's why they're successful. Mine doesn't care. Just wants an identity. And if it's a super fan, so be it. And if your kid does well, it'll take the credit. I take no credit for my children. And that works out, because if they turn into wackadoodles, well, I didn't take credit for the good stuff either. That's them turning themselves out. I don't take credit for that. And it was funny, too, because I was sharing a lot about stuff about the videos with my son. Actually, I just talked his head off. Luckily, we like the same things, so it was a fun conversation. And I was talking to him about those books I'm reading, which just blew him away. And we were talking about just how the mind creates pain in the body, or it creates anxiety or depression, things to deflect from these feelings we have, which I now call the what do I call them? You know, on your computer, when you click it and put it in the trash bin on a computer. That's what your subconscious is. It's the trash bin. So talking to him about the trash bin and how we actually function like a computer that has a trash bin that's full. And the computer, because it can go along just enough to make, you can send an email, you can go online, you can write a document. It thinks it's doing okay. I mean, if anyone else was to come over and take a look at your computer, it works, right? So you're successful. So we were talking about that and how, but if you wanted to download a really good program that you needed to maybe create art or a game or something, and it's full, it won't let you download it. And you got to clean it out. You got to empty the trash bin. You got to get new memory, you got new storage, all this kind of stuff. And so he really saw that, well, gosh, then I need to empty that. And I said, well, it's like when I said that I didn't feel I had the right to play. So I went and questioned that. And then all of a sudden, I'm painting downstairs. I'm at this baseball game with you. I'm going out of town tomorrow. Because I created a room in the trash bin. I could create in that space of nothing. And his eyes got huge. He's like, well, how do we create nothing? Well, you got to empty the trash bin. He's like, well, how do we empty the trash bin? He said, well, from what I can tell so far, you got to be willing to look in the trash bin. You got to be willing to even deal with the fact that there is a trash bin, or game's over. You just end up buying a new computer and thinking you fixed it. I'll buy a new wife, get a new husband, get new friends, I'll move, go out of town, get a different job, and the trash bin will disappear. It doesn't work that way for humans, though. But that's what we think. Same thing. I'll get a different car. I'll feel better. We'll get a new face. We can do that now. I'm going to get a new face tomorrow. I'm tired of his nose. Makes me feel bad about myself. I don't like that. Click. What if I show up with a new nose? Would you guys freak out? Oh, I've always had a thing about my nose. All right. So back to the trash bin. I said, from what I can tell so far, you got to deal with the fact that there's a trash bin. And then you got to open the trash bin. And that's called opening your darkness, embracing your darkness, embracing your inner Dexter. It's actually just observing it and taking a look, being willing to look. Because your ego, the computer, wants to shut that down. It's afraid you'll die. You'll lose acceptance in your tribes, and because we crave connection, it will do everything it can to shut down the system. It's showing there's trash in there. And it will shame you from looking in there. It will embarrass you that there's even a trash bin there. It'll keep pointing out to society that, look, they're fine. Just keep going. Just if you look fine, they'll keep accepting you. It'll kind of keep giving you different, if you were trying to figure out what an error is on your computer, it'll give you maybe different suggestions. Well, look here, try this, whatever. And that's just kind of what your mind keeps doing, gives you different suggestions on how to handle it. Versus go directly to the trash bin, take a look at it, empty it. It won't do that. Because it thinks there's a problem that exists. So I said, take a look in there at what's dark. What are those things that you refuse to feel? Because our mind resists it immediately as soon as it comes up. In fact, it happens before you even know what happens most of the time. There's sometimes you can catch it where it's a painful thing and you can remember looking back, gosh, where were those painful times? Or you'll be sitting there daydreaming and all of a sudden you'll have a moment pop up that you just kind of wince like, oh, I hated that. Back up. There was something you didn't feel about it when it originally happened. You shut it down. I have a lifetime for that. So as they pop up right now in my memory, if I can catch them, then I back up and then I go, okay, let's drop into the darkness and let's take a look. And let's feel what I didn't feel before. And I don't necessarily sob, but emotion comes up. I can feel it in my body. I can feel it in my face. I might tear up. And it passes. And that's deleting stuff. Because the body doesn't have to carry it anymore. It's felt and it can move back through. It delivered me a cough instead. So there's that. And then sometimes to even access the emotions, you've got to question your thoughts. Like doing the work by Byron Katie or some form of that. Some kind of inquiry. People say, well, just feel happy. It's a choice. Just create happiness over it. Just feel happy. I get what they're saying. Ramp yourself up. Listen to positive music. Listen to positive things. I'm not saying that doesn't help. But if the memory's full, it doesn't really take hold in the computer. It's just surface stuff to cover up the fact that there's crap back there. And it's ashamed of it. And there's nothing wrong with it. It serves a purpose. It helps keeping you functioning. Because it thought the trauma or the even an uncomfortable moment. It could be a misunderstanding, and all of a sudden you feel flustered inside, and maybe you were 5. That kid looked at you weird. You have no idea why the kid looked at you weird. Or a note got passed by you and didn't get passed to you. Your mind could go, oh my gosh, is that about me? Does someone think I'm weird? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And your mind will go, shut it the fuck down right now. Mayday, alert. And it'll try and distract you all over like, oh, my leg itches. Oh, that's weird. I was nervous a minute ago, but now my leg itches. It will distract, flash, decoy all over the place. So you not only shut down the emotions, but then you've locked onto a thought like I'm weird, or they don't like me, or I'm not in the group, or whatever. And you'll start operating. It gets an operating system, which is 95% of how you actually operate. So you've got to look at the thoughts and question them. Are they true? Because none of them are true. I'm ugly isn't even, I'm beautiful isn't true either. And I know that people want to go, well, that's better. Well, sure, because it feels better. I don't have a problem with that. But you always are referencing something else when you state something like that. I'm beautiful. I'm ugly. To say that, you actually had to look back and reference either all the times you felt you were or you weren't to compare to actually have that opinion. If you're ever coming from the past, it's not creating. It's not authentic. Because some moments I do feel pretty and some moments I don't. And they don't mean anything. The ego just tries to make it mean something about your acceptance level. But if I accept me, it's kind of irrelevant how I look that day. And I've noticed when I accept me, I can look like a lion that just got painted white and sickly. And however I look like that, however my mind tells me I look, and I don't notice any difference in the way people treat me at all. So my mind just tries to tell me, different stories about that. So you really want to look at anything that you feel like that grab in your stomach or that awkwardness you suddenly feel around someone. Put on music. What memories come up about that guy, about that girl, about that time? And you just get the, ooh, change it, change it, change it. Why? What's in there that the ego doesn't want you to see? It's something from the trash bin. But if you remove it, you have freedom. A song can come on and you don't react to it. Did you ever see Silver Linings Playbook? Silver Lining Playbook. It's one of my very favorite movies. But he hears that song and he goes into a rage every time because it reminds him of his wife cheating on him. But if he looked at that and felt what he actually did feel in the moment, not what he thought about it, and if he questioned the stuff around his wife and what happened in the song, then the song is going to play and he's free. He can't control if a song comes on in the grocery store, just like you can't. But isn't it weird to be in a grocery store and a song will come on and all of a sudden you're just shopping away, you're getting ready for a party, having a great time, and that song comes on. And the pain comes up. And then you shove it down. You're in public, you're not going to deal with it. That was ancient history. I'm not going to give him the satisfaction of dealing with it. Give yourself the satisfaction of dealing with it. Then you're not attacked by a song that comes on the radio. Music came on yesterday at the game, and I just let the emotions pour out. And it was amazing because I didn't try and stuff it down and protect it. My son saw tears running down my face. I didn't have to explain it. But I wasn't going to shut it down either. I'm not doing that. It's taking some practice, but I'm not doing it anymore. Where I can catch it, I'm not doing it. If people are concerned, they can ask me what's going on. I'm happy to have the conversation. So when they come up, feel them, and where you feel that grab, look at your thoughts. Are they true? Do they cause you stress? Do they give you peace? And what happens when you believe them? What's your physical reaction? What does your mind say? How do you treat yourself? How do you treat that person? What obsessive thoughts come up? What can't you do because you believe that thought? Well, I can't hear the song. Turn the shit off. Can't do it. You're suddenly a victim of music. Then how would you be if you didn't even have the thought? If it wasn't there? Because the song will come on either way, right? And you'll have a thought like, oh my gosh, I hate this song because it reminds me of X, Y, Z. But if that thought wasn't there, is the music okay? Are you okay? Yeah, you're fine. In fact, you could probably enjoy it again. But as long as the thought is intact, as long as it's in the operating system, you're stuck. There's no freedom there. People can think they're free, but it's like if you can't roam through every store and get in any car and have any music play, any TV show come on, any movie pop up, and you have a reaction to it, you're not free. And that's okay. It doesn't mean you can't have a happy life. It just means you're not free. I just think free is fun. So I'm willing to dig. So my kids know about the work. They've been raised in it, so they know to go there. Do their egos fight it? Yes. Oh gosh. And they go, Mom, I'm feeling this. I'm like, well, do you want to do some work on it? No. What? It's not them, it's the ego. And I know that. I mean, I've done this work for a long time, and every time, almost, I'm pissed. I did some this morning because comes the emotion. Melt. So when I was talking to my son yesterday, I was talking to him about the darkness and how we rage against it, and therefore the darkness rages against us, because the things we're trying to eliminate it. And it showed up for whatever reason. But it's here. Can't even help that it's here. But when we think we have to be ashamed of it and hide it and not show our feelings, and we walk around like it's contraband, I'm sad, I feel vulnerable, I'm jealous, whatever, but I'm going to keep it under this dark cloak. I don't want anyone to see it. And everyone else has the same cloak on, everyone else has the same stuff, but I don't want them to see it. Because I could get arrested, I could be put in jail, I could be put in prison, I could be killed for it. That's exactly what your ego tells you. It tells you nutty things like that. Don't say it or you could die. You'll lose everything. And if you lose everything, that means blah, 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 blah. This is real, people. This is real, Amanda. So I was talking to him about the dark and how when you really dig into the dark, there's no greater spiritual journey. There's nothing more sacred to me. Is it scary? Yes. There's nothing scarier. But that's the hero's journey. They're the victors because they go through the darkness that we're scared to go through. And we attribute it to them like they have superpowers, and they do it. But they do it because that's their calling to do it, and they want to be free, and it's their job to free people. So you got to go look in the dark. And I told my son, I said, but the thing is, we shame the dark emotions. But the dark emotions, to me, if you're present to them especially, and you go in there because you love yourself enough to be free, and then once you're free, people around you can be free, so you got people to play with. Once you go into that darkness, that is the closest you will ever get to the light. And I mean the bright, purifying light of truth. People can think being happy or being successful on these things is the light. And it feels good. But there's something to going through the dark and receiving the light that's different. That becomes a presence that no one can deny and you can't deny. That's why there's these people that have been able to write these books about going through these experiences. Almost everyone that I know of went through nearly committing suicide. And because it broke them open in such a painful way, the light could come in. And then they were awake to what was reality, what was true, what love really was. And it was a presence that they could continue in. Actually, most of them really had to work through it to maintain it, because the ego is so strong. But that's why I'm someone that just doesn't like when depression is shamed, or sadness is shamed, or anxiety, or depression. Anyway, those emotions. Everyone's just like, be this so that you can achieve these things. Well, maybe you can, and maybe it will look a certain way and will be enough. But to me, the penetrating, lasting one that can change everything around you is where you got to go through the dark. Whether you believe in Jesus or not, or a lot of these philosophers or prophets, whatever, they talk about a dark place they had to go, you know. That Jesus was the 40 days and 40 nights. And yes, they talk about him dealing with the devil, Satan. And you can look at it that way, and if you're a Christian, I suppose you do. But you can also, I know Christians look at it this way too, is that that's the ego. Once you're free of that, at least for the most part, life will occur so differently. The way you react to people will be differently. You won't be forceful, or you won't be hiding. You're just present. You just show up exactly as you are. There's nothing to change. And that darkness dissipates, so it's just presence. It's neither light nor dark. It's just what's so. It's just love. It's just presence. And so people are looking for happy, but presence is where it's at. Just being present. Whatever shifts through. There's no attachment to it. It comes and it goes. And then you can just move powerfully into what calls you. That's how you can connect with people. It's not about keeping yourself happy and psyched up. Till you hear that song. And then what? No, I'm going to stay happy. I'm going to choose happy anyway. I'm going to choose it. I'm going to choose it. Okay. Plug your ears. Don't even hear the song. In fact, I told my son, I said, what I would love, when I have my own island with my own rules, right? I would love that darkness was a rite of passage, that it was an honored thing, you know, when someone, because if you could teach that when that comes up, whether you get really sick or your mind feels sick or your heart feels sick, go to the dark. The answers are in there. Is it scary? Yes. Remember when Luke goes into the cave and he cuts off the head and it's Darth Vader and it's so scary in there? It's what that is. It's the hero's journey, going into the dark. And I said, can you imagine if you're at a party and someone didn't show up? You know, it's Sally. Well, where's Sally? You know, she went to the dark. Can you imagine if everyone was like, oh, amazing. Just being human beings deserve that honor and that kind of love and respect. Instead of shaming them or attacking them, or you shouldn't be suicidal, you should be grateful. You fucking be grateful. That's not where they're at. They're in the dark. Encourage them to go into the dark. Then they actually could go look, and two, the darkness wouldn't be shoving them out in like this rage of fight where the ego's like, you can't go there. Even if you want to go, even if they're encouraging you, you can't go there. But if it was supported in society where you go to your therapist, you go to your coach, or you sit and you meditate and you get to that source, you question it, and it was an honored thing, oh, there wouldn't be anything that wouldn't be possible. Everything would be possible. And it wouldn't be about getting it right or being famous or popular or cool. It would be they went to the dark. And the answers that they can bring back is just amazing. Because the ego dies in the dark if you go looking for it. But that's what I was doing this morning. I mean, I shared that with them, and it was such a big moment for me, just a lot of emotion there. So this morning, I started looking in the dark. I don't like to talk about things like that and know if that feels true for me, and then go, yeah, but I don't want to do it. I started some of those worksheets this morning. And some of it I started uncovering thoughts that made me feel embarrassed. That I was, like, I can't believe I get on the camera and talk about things, and that's something I think, like, I am a creep. I'm a bad person. It was just about work. You know, I'm not allowed to work, I don't have the right to work. Well, I uncovered I don't feel other people have the right to work. Well, something like that. I don't think people have the right to work. Well, guess what? I get triggered when I'm not dealing with my stuff and I'm not looking in the trash bin. People that are successful around me, yeah, I get jealous, I get petty, I get angry, I get defensive, I shut it off. That's why I didn't watch YouTube. That's why I don't watch a lot of videos. A lot of people that get on the camera and do coaching or sell books about a successful life because I maybe don't agree with how they're doing it, but mostly because I'm not dealing with my crap. I'm like, why do they think they should be able to go in there and tell people that? Why do they think? Well, it's because I haven't given myself permission. I won't look. But it embarrassed me. Like, my ego freaked out when it saw that. It's like, you're a little slime ball. Like, we don't really think this. I'm like, well, I do. I do. I get triggered by people that do this kind of stuff and look happy about doing it. Like, all the judgment goes. But I like to cover that up. I do it this way. This is the best way. No, just the way I'm doing it. And even thoughts about being famous. I saw a video that Cameron Diaz did right before I went back in to go to another one, and I thought I questioned things about success and fame and whatever, and there's all sorts of little goodies in there for me. Things I thought of when I was a little kid, like to be successful you have to be famous. And I don't, cognitively, we don't think that most of the time. But I saw that was in there. And I remember sitting outside on a swing, and I was singing very loudly, and I wanted someone to acknowledge that I sounded wonderful. And like maybe I could be like Barbara Streisand or something. And I wanted someone to say that, because then that meant I was a good singer, or I was good enough. I had these cousins and aunts sang opera, and if someone would just tell me that, then I would feel okay. And then you watch how if that doesn't get sorted out, it keeps going. And guess what, as a parent, you have no control over that crap. My parents all the time are like, oh, you're so good, you're a good little singer, you should sing more. You know, they are encouraging. But if that thought comes into a kid's head, you have no control, but you didn't know it went through. The person doesn't even know it goes through. So while I encourage you to have your kids feel their feelings, I do. Because if you see it coming up, you say, what is that? Let's take a look. Or don't shut that down, let it, if you got to go in a room and be pissed off, do it. Like, you got to be present to do that too. But there's going to be stuff forever people are going to have to sit and sort out in their own heads. You can't control that some kid looked at them weird at school and then they've got his phobia about it. That's theirs to work on. And I think something I really saw doing that video the other day and all the subsequent things and talking to my son, I realized that the pain is fine. In fact, the pain is amazing. It is what can push you back up in a powerful way. So to run around and rob everyone of their pain is a disservice. Let them be in pain. The only reason you're trying to stop it is because it makes you uncomfortable. That's what I do with my kids. When they're in pain, I just start giving them solutions. Do this, try this, do whatever. Do this, blah, blah, blah. Do you have an anxiety medicine? You have this? Go get that. Go whatever. Because I don't want to feel anything about it. So, please don't feel it. Thanks. So, that's what came out of a baseball game. Maybe I should go to more things more often. But if you can go to the dark, I encourage you to. And it's really, really scary. And you will find freedom and love for yourself and for other human beings that you can't find any other way. It's the great dichotomy. It's just how it works. So I'm going to continue to go to the dark and report back what I find. But what happens out of emptying that trash bin, you can't get any other way. And it becomes an amazing life. You don't know what's possible until you empty the trash bin. You'll never know. I don't care how happy you convince yourself you are. I don't care how much positive, whatever you listen to. I don't care how pumped up you get yourself, how you talk it out with friends, how you, whatever. If you don't empty the trash bin, you'll never know what's possible for you in your life. And you'll never know yourself as the warrior of love that you really are. That's okay. But it's kind of cool. I think. When I think it. Okay, bye.